time to get your fix. Come on down, get your horrible gaming review. 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 Ow!
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming. Welcome to another horrible game review. Another kind of older one that I got via a bunch of free codes, so I decided to take a swing at them when I have the chance. First of all, though, disclaimers. The word horrible in the title of this video does not necessarily refer to the game or DLC that I'm reviewing, but much more the video content itself. I do snap judgment reviews here. So I only get about 5 to 10 hours with each game, and I'm just trying to give you an idea of whether you're going to like it right off the bat or not. That, coupled with the fact that I think games are one of the most subjective forms of art, I don't give scored reviews here either. Instead, what I'll do is I'll give you an overview of what the game is, then I'll tell you the pros and the cons of the game in my point of view, as all reviews are, and then I'll be telling you whether I will be sticking with the game outside the purposes of this video. So, with all that out of the way, let's do it. It's Scourgebringer. We're doing Scourgebringer today. This is a real simple, real small but sweet roguelite from, I don't know, I think it's just one guy developed this, which is pretty impressive. And I'm not going to lie to you, the story is a little bit confusing to me, or what I kind of understand from it is that there's this big alien-type spaceship thing that comes down to the planet, basically wipes out humanity, for the most part, like puts it in a bad way, and they call it the Scourgebringer. For whatever reason, they send people into the Scourgebringer, I'm going to guess to destroy it, or for either people, or figure out what it is, yada, yada, yada. And you are that person, that chosen one to go on in. And then the inside of this is an ever-changing world. Much like every other roguelike, you get like a map. That map is procedurally generated with kind of square rooms all about the size of your screen. Those rooms have monsters, items, stores, that sort of thing. And then you'll battle your way through them until you find the boss room, in which case you defeat the boss, move on to the next. When you die, you return to something called the Select Tree, which is basically a place for you to purchase upgrades for your character. You do this with Judge Blood that you collect from defeating big monsters inside the dungeon when you're in there. Those abilities make it easier for you to get further and further, but when you go back in, you start at the first stage all over again, procedurally generated and random one more time. As with most of these roguelites, certain elements are entered into multiple runs, so things slowly get trickled in. New enemies, new things to find, new things to collect, new bits of lore. And the game is very fast-paced and very simple. It is along the lines of like a Dead Cells. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. The interesting factors about this is you can constantly attack in midair that just keeps you afloat, kind of floating around with like sword swipes going all over the place, and while you are melee based, you also have a gun that allows you to shoot. But you only recover this ammo by taking people out with your sword, so there's a weird kind of balance to that. You also are extremely mobile. You can dash in just about any direction and almost as many times as you like, which allow you to get around the screen. And you can also run up walls just by jumping into them. I mean, it's a 2D platform. I don't know if I said that, but it's 2D. You'll be able to see that from the screen in front of you. When you enter a room, usually you get a swarm of monsters, and there's usually 2 of them. You'll kill all the monsters, then another swarm come out, you kill all the monsters, then you can progress. You can't progress out of a level until you defeat a mini-boss somewhere in the stage that unlocks the door to the big boss. Fights and runs are incredibly fast in this game. I think the longest fight I ever had was like 90 seconds tops. And if you're not beating the enemy by then, he's killed you. Like, that's how this game works. As you kill monsters, you collect blood. Blood is how you buy certain different items from certain vendors. It allows you to get the Judge Blood later, I think, that allows you to upgrade your character. And then there's, of course, other things to find. What I also found interesting about this was if you clear every room in a dungeon before you fight the boss, instead of just do what you have to get through the level, you actually get a bunch of special items, like a big item drop on you. But of course, that takes more because you've got to get through it. There's a few different types of vendors in it. The first one being a blood vendor. Another one is a vendor that just that requires you to give up life in the moment. And then you have a third vendor that I think he shows up when you're doing pretty bad, and I was doing pretty bad, and just gives you a bunch of stuff at the beginning. So yeah, that's the game. I mean, this is not going to be a long review. It's a very simple, straightforward roguelike. So let's go into the pros. Number one, pros. This game, even when you're getting absolutely your ass handed to you on a platter, makes you feel like a frickin' badass. The sword swinging in the midair, the dashing, the running up walls, and I'm about to get into my biggest pro, but that's next. The ambiance of it, it just dead centers you into anime badassness. While I love Dead Cells, it is a much more methodical, thought-requiring game. I mean, this requires thought, but it's a lot of twitch reflexes. A lot more twitch reflexes than Dead Cells. And Dead Cells requires a lot. This game is fast. Absolutely fast. It will have you just exploding around the screen, leaving sword slashes everywhere. There's also another mechanic in it where you have a heavy slash that doesn't necessarily do more damage, but what it does is if you can hit the enemies at the right time when they have a little exclamation point up above their head, it'll knock them back and stun them, which allows you to kind of like, if you can time it right, clear mobs that are swarming down on you with a couple of well-timed hits. But you have to constantly alternate between them in a split second while being attacked from all ends, and it's very interesting and frustrating, which we'll get to that in a little bit in the cons. But this brings me to the next thing. The badassness brings me to the biggest thing, and that is the music. This music is phenomenal. It is some Doom rip and tear stuff, and it just, I don't know why it fits this so well, but it just does. It just kicks from start to beginning. This music will just have you just tapping your feet and ready to fight again, and I loved that about this game. I absolutely love the music about this game. I don't think one of these games has had a better soundtrack for what it's trying to do yet. Even Hades, which I love Hades, doesn't have that. That's another thing that this game has slightly better than the master Hades, and that is this game gives you that badass feeling even when you're losing. Hades, I had plenty of runs where I just got the snot kicked out of me and did not feel like I was doing good at all. This, even when I'm losing, I'm feeling like I'm doing good, and it's really cool. Let's get to the cons, though. Let's step into the cons. Oh, no, wait, no. There's one more pro I want to do. The other pro is I love the level clear bonus. You don't get that in games like Hades or Dead Cells, where like, oh, I cleared every room in this, so I get a bunch of extra things, which allows you to weigh, like, do I try to go for that clear to get those bigger bonuses going into the boss, but risk some of the precious health, and health is precious in this game. You do not get a lot of it. Or do I just try and get to the boss with the high health and try and skill beat him? It's a real tricky balance. But I love that aspect of this. I found myself clearing that first dungeon almost every time. And a lot of times it was to my detriment because I'd take a couple extra hits and wouldn't be able to beat the boss, but I always wanted that extra health. Always wanted it. So let's go to the cons. The cons is the difficulty level, and this is nitpicky because I feel this game is made to be difficult, like absolutely made to be the height of difficulty. But it is hard, and it will kill you a lot and fast. I mean, the nice thing is you die fast, you come back quick, and you just get back into the run. But yeah, you die a lot. The amount of health you have is infinitesimal in the beginning. You can only take, I think, 6 hits to start the game, and you could slowly build that up. I think I had built that up to 9, and I hadn't even beaten the first stage, which maybe just says I'm bad at platformers, but it was very, very difficult, and it hurt me a little bit because I'm not a Dark Souls player. I don't need that difficulty spike. I want a challenge, but I don't need it to be frustratingly hard. That brings me to whether or not I'm going to stick with it, because there are really no other cons on this game. This game is really well made, top to bottom, and even the con that I gave, again, is kind of nitpicky. a lot of people out there would love that about this game, so it's a very personal preference con. I think this game is great. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. Not because this game is bad, not because it's bad at all. I just have so many games and so many projects that I'm working on right now. I don't know that this is going to make the cut. However, it is so small, it's not leaving my Steam library anytime soon. And one nice thing is, anytime you have like 10, 15 minutes, you could still do a decent run in this because everything is so freaking fast. So that's a nice addition, and that might actually get me into it if I have that spare moment. Hey, I'll make a quick run on Scourgebringer, see what happens. I think that's a really cool aspect to this game. So there you have it. There's my review for Scourgebringer. Next week, probably going to do the big one. Probably going to do Redfall. So keep an eye out for that. And as usual, you guys can contact us on Facebook at OmegaMDH, on Twitter at OmegaMD9. You can join our Discord. Link is in the description below. Influence us in all of our shows from there. And yeah, as long as you keep watching and listening, I'll keep making them. See you guys next time.